So I'm home from college, just got my wisdom teeth out, and I'm bored. So recently I've been just going through a bunch of stuff and deciding whether or not I even need it, because after a year of living in a tiny dorm, I now know what is necessary in life and what isn't. But I found all my film cameras, plus my grandparents were moving, so I got 2 new ones, and it was kind of sad just seeing them in that drawer, so I decided to upgrade my storage. And maybe it's not even an upgrade and it's probably not proper storage, but you know what, it's encouraging me to go out and take pictures rather than just let them sit there in the drawer all summer long.
So this was my situation before. I had this drawer where not even all of them fit since I had just gotten 2 new ones, and I wanted a place to put them out on display, but in a safe spot where they won't get bumped and knocked off. So I decided to clean off my bookshelf, and I ended up getting rid of quite a few books, and then the top shelf was clear, so I put up all of my cameras. As for all of my accessories, I just put them in an old photo storage box, and I have quite a few since my grandparents, I guess, bought them back in the day, and they gave them along with the cameras. So I have things between extra lenses, a light meter, some flashes, a timer, and just some extra camera straps. And then I have film that needs to be developed, film that was already developed, and that is of course labeled on the outside, and I have some film that needs to be shot. And of course I have a bunch of extra empty film containers just in case. And I do have some old photos that my grandma gave me, and as for all the photos that I've taken, I will put those in a separate photo storage box because there are simply too many.
Here are my 5 tips for saving money for the amateur photographer. Number 1 is get your cameras used. Personally, I've only bought one of these in exclusion to my Polaroid camera, but I was for like $15 at an antique store. So go to antique stores, look at thrift stores, or even garage sales. And the rest of mine were handed down to me from relatives. So ask around, see if anybody has an old film camera that they're willing to part with and let you give it a second life. Number 2 is ask your friends for help. I personally have learned everything I know about photography from my best friend. I've never taken a class before, but I'm getting there, and I'm also using the internet as a resource. There's a lot of information out there, and there's plenty of YouTube videos teaching you how to use your specific camera if you get your hands on one. Or even just ask a friend who has one. See if they're willing to let you borrow it, and if they're a little hesitant, offer to buy some film and say, well, let's go out together and you can show me how to use it. Because honestly, you will learn so much and probably have a great time. Number 3 is find access to free courses. Personally, I didn't take photography in high school, and I regret that. If you have it at your school, definitely take it. Or if you're in college and need to fill an art credit, take a photography course. And if you don't have access to either of those, look at your local calendar and see if any community colleges or if there's any events at the park going on where they might have photography classes. You never know. Number 4 is don't be afraid to use expired film. I know the first roll I ever shot on, I found it in my house and it was well over a decade old, but it still worked pretty okay. I mean, some of the pictures turned out perfect, and then the other ones sort of turned out pink and weird, so it's really nice to have this like strange, you know, sort of experimental sort of hue to it. And a lot of photographers who have been shooting for a long time will sometimes shoot on expired film for this effect as well. Number 5 is start digital if you have to. Nowadays, cameras are so incredibly common, and most likely you carry one in your pocket every single day without even really thinking about it. So go out there, take pictures on your phone, or if your family has a digital camera, even if it's something silly like a point and shoot, just getting out there and taking photos can really change your perspective on, you know, this wonderful art. Watch for sales at places like Walgreens. I know I printed out off 100 photos for $10 at Walgreens right before Mother's Day by using a code that was online. And, you know, just look what's out there. If you put in just a little bit of work, you'll get something in return. Even just going out there and taking photos, it's more than likely you'll have a good time. So I really encourage you to get out there and, you know, explore this realm of the art world. And if photography isn't your thing, then do something else. Find your hobby. I don't know. This is just something that I've recently picked up and just tried to get into. So I really suggest that you try something new today.